Give us any chance, we'll take it. Read us any rule, we'll break it. We're gonna make our dreams come true.
Hi everyone, Chris Jayawardena here from Night After Night with a bit of a heads up / disclaimer for today's episode. As we've sometimes discussed in the past, the episodes are often recorded in batches ahead of time, and it turned out that by the time we did this episode, we realized that we were doing episodes that wouldn't be going up for a year. So yes, this episode that you're about to hear was recorded in around middle of October 2020, whereas it's now being posted on November 5th of 2021. Because of that, that means that some of the information that is discussed is seemingly of a topical nature to us at the time, but was, becomes old news by the time the episode is up. The reason for this, partly that we're making this a heads up rather than just cutting out that material entirely, is more because of the fact we wanted to keep it as a bit of a historical record, and because of the fact that the issues discussed regarding the SAG-AFTRA health plan and David L. Lander's advocacy as someone talking about healthcare issues was definitely something we wanted to maintain as a kind of for posterity, and in many ways a tribute to the fact that, David Lander unfortunately passed away 2 months after this was recorded, and so we weren't, aware that that was even going to happen. So anyway, we just wanted to kind of give it a quick heads up and mention that so that, folks, they have forewarning, so to speak. In any case, we hope that you enjoy the podcast. This episode is a really big one. It's a very talky one. There's lots of tangents. We had a great guest on, and we just hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you very much.
Welcome to Night After Night, a podcast about 8 seasons in a row. I'm Lisa Fernandes, and
I'm Chris Jayawardena.
I'm very proud to announce that we have a special guest this episode. Hosted movie nights, Charmed Rewind, Manic Episodes, Baywatching Nights, the Charmed Heart with a Vengeance podcast, Allison Pregler, everyone.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yay! Thanks for being here. This is awesome.
Yay. I've been trying to figure out which episode to get you on, Allison, because I was trying to think. Now, we've had several writers who worked on Baywatch, and several writers who will end up working on Baywatch and Baywatch Nights in future episodes. But I decided to pick this one because this episode features Toni Basil, and there was a special episode of Baywatch in which Toni Basil featured, and that's what brought you to mind.
Well, I don't know if you know that this also crosses with my other love, Quantum Leap, because
Yes.
Toni Basil also in the 60s dated Dean Stockwell.
Yeah, I had no idea. That is so cool. I had no idea. That's awesome.
So pretty nifty. Yeah, it was cool seeing her.
Nifty.
Yeah, and I can't blame either of them. I mean, they both were very attractive, and talented people at the time.
I can say it. I would have dated Dean Stockwell too at that time. It was like, I think a lot of us would have.
He was quite handsome back in the day.
Oh yes.
Mm-hmm. He had a look.
Oh yeah. I admit, I even would have dated Dunwich Horror Stockwell.
Oh man, with the mustache.
Bro, I would have gone
I was about to
there.
say with the Dean Lerner mustache.
Yeah, I can't get behind the mustache Dean Stockwell, but I think like he got more handsome after he shaved it off and grew into the Married to the Mob Dean Stockwell.
Right.
Oh, that was a nice look. That was a good era for him too. We are about to review Chorus Line. It was directed by Joel Zwick and written by Mark Sotkin, and Chris should have some facts about both of them, I do believe.
I do. So Mark Sotkin, the man, the myth, the guy who gave us a domestic violence fought with thrown potted plants. This is his 9th of 11th episodes as a writer. He's now a supervising producer on Laverne and Shirley by this point, and will continue to produce episodes kind of off and on until its conclusion in 1983. Interesting trivia note, he also was a co-creator on the short-lived TV show Working Stiffs, whose creators also include Arthur Silver and Bob Brunner, and Penny Marshall even directed an episode. Yeah. So, interestingly, Working Stiffs not only gave us Michael Keaton, which I remember bringing this up to my dad, and he immediately goes, "Wait, you mean the one with Michael Keaton?" and then I had a whole bunch of Laverne and Shirley alums. As to Joel Zwick, having already done Playing the Roxy, this is his second of 33 episodes to come overall for his run. After Laverne and Shirley, he would go on to, as mentioned, Mork and Mindy, bosom buddies by fellow alum Chris Thompson, and even the unsold pilot for the Adventures in Babysitting TV series.
Wow. The previous one, didn't they actually made one now, or maybe it was a movie?
Yeah, they made at least three baby boom related sitcoms. There was Baby Talk, which went through so many different cast changes. I specifically remember that one because at the end they just threw Scott Baio in there. They just pitched Scott Baio in there, and that was when it died. And they just canceled it. That was the end.
I don't know why I remember that Baby Talk existed. Somehow Baby Talk keeps coming up into my pop cultural vision here. Like whenever I'm looking something up, someone's like, "Oh, they were in an episode of Baby Talk," or "This aired around Baby Talk." I'm like, "This had like what, like -2 episodes? Why does Baby Talk keep coming up?"
I remember that show so clearly from my childhood, and I don't know why, because it was so short-lived. I think it was. Oh yeah, I just remember that there were so many different moms for this poor child, and so many different pursuing John Travolta-esque dad figures, and
they kept trying to reboot it, basically.
Yep. I think they went through 3 different lead actresses and 2 main love interest dudes.
Man, what a disaster. So this Baby Talk, was this involved with anyone from Laverne and Shirley, or this is just tangentially baby related?
No,
it's probably you know, with the way this show has gone sometimes, I mean, like, we did an episode that was directed by the guy who was the first or second assistant director on one of my favorite Robert Duvall crime movies from the 70s. Like, you never know.
Yeah.
It's at a point, we're only halfway through the series. Yeah. It could happen. Baby Talk could suddenly come back.
The director of Once Bitten directed an episode.
The director of Once Bitten. Well, Hollywood royalty.
Hey, yo. Hey. And Penny actually directed her first thing, period. Anything related to the media. This is her first directing gig was on Laverne and Shirley. So I kind of set some things in stone that were good for the universe, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Go.
This is just quite the learning experience for me. I chose to take no notes, to do no research, so I could learn all about it from you guys. I've never seen Laverne and Shirley before this. I couldn't even really tell you what it was about. I've just heard the name. So this was my first time seeing it. So I really knew next to nothing about it. I knew Lenny and Squiggy were characters. I knew Laverne and Shirley were characters. It's a shame that there wasn't really a lot of Shirley involved in this one.
There was an extremely low amount of Shirley content in this particular episode. Part of me wanted to give you a heavier Shirley content episode, but I thought this would be I'll actually give you a rec list eventually. If you ever want a rec list, I will give you a rec list for episodes because
I found this quite charming, and you know what? I really loved the accents. I loved everyone's accents.
Everyone has a Jersey or New York accent, even though we're in Milwaukee. They try to explain this. They do try to explain this.
Okay.
By saying,
I don't feel I've gotten deep enough into the show to have them try to justify it, but go on.
Well, Laverne and her dad moved from the Bronx to Milwaukee. That's why they have those accents. For a first couple of episodes, Cindy Williams attempts that kind of accent and does horribly.
Oh, it's an atrocity. Yeah.
To the point where Gary Marshall took her aside and said, "Honey, please don't do the accent anymore. It doesn't sound good." And so she was relieved. She hated doing the accent. She stopped doing the accent. She sounded Midwestern from then on in. Lenny and Squiggy were conceived as having been from the Jersey, New York area because Michael and David grew up in that area, and they're based on guys they went to school with that they didn't like, basically.
Okay, because I couldn't even tell they were trying to do like accents from there. I just thought some foreign country or something. Like, who sounds like this? You know?
No.
So I couldn't.
No one, nobody.
I thought it was like a Latka situation.
Oh, God. The ironic thing is that Taxi aired 3 slots in the time on that lineup after Laverne and Shirley. So that was a lot of accent humor going on Tuesday nights on ABC.
I don't know. I never even really thought about it, but it doesn't really. I mean, not that people, travel to different states all the time, but it is kind of funny. Like, hey, yo, welcome to Milwaukee.
I know. People from Milwaukee roast the show for doing that. It drives them nuts because people think that Milwaukee is like that, or a Milwaukee accent sounds like that. So people were very, very angry about that for quite a while. They didn't want to be
isn't the real Milwaukee accent? Don't you know?
I think it's pretty close to a Midwestern accent. I think so. I have never really heard a Milwaukee accent before.
I don't think I've even met anyone from Wisconsin. Yeah. And admittedly, I do live in Oregon, so I mean, it could just be I'm just a little too far west.
I mean, I've been to Wisconsin, but I didn't meet everyone there. No one that I met had an accent in particular, but
exactly. Yeah. All of us really essentially have to go on as Mike Nelson's jokes from Mystery Science Theater at this point.
Oh yeah, gotta go to the Dells and ride the ducks, don't you know? Like, for me, it's kind of like the least weird part of the show, because we haven't gotten to the point of the show we have the characters being possessed by ghosts. We're gonna get
wait, what?
Season 8. That happened in season 8.
Wait, what? Lisa, honey, wait. I was not aware ghost possession was involved.
Oh, ghost possession happens. Ghost possession happens.
Isn't that during the last season?
What did you mean? Was that when we started the show?
Yes, you remembered. Yes, I made that joke. I made that reference to you on Twitter a few ages ago. Yep.
Oh man,
yep. That's what it's from.
I'm sorry. I just my brain just got melted there for a second. There, I'm okay. Okay, the Ark of the Covenant's going away.
Was that during the last season when it was getting really bad? I feel like I heard that in the last season. Like they kind of just went off the rails.
Oh yeah, that's where the possession happens. Yep.
Oh yeah,
over the cliff.
Oh yeah,
over the cliff, straight over the cliff.
That sounds amazing.
It is amazing. It's amazing in the best, worst way possible. We're eventually going to talk about that on the pod. I will eventually talk about that on Twitter. I gotta do a whole mega thread about what happened because it was a whole mess. Because Cindy Williams sued the show, accusing them of a bunch of stuff when it came to labor practices. They countersued her. She was off the show. They had to rebuild the whole show around Penny, which she didn't want to do. She wanted to cancel the show. She did not want to look like she shoved Cindy out of the show. So that happens eventually. We got Ghost Possession because there's nobody else for her to play off of.
Wow. Sounds good.
Nah. Cream of the crop. Cream of the crop. Oh.
Goodness gracious. So moving back to season 4, episode 10, yes. Chorus line. Yeah. I somehow get the feeling we're going to have a little difficulty following Ghost Possession with this.
Worst things happen in season 8 is all I'm going to tell both of y'all, because I don't it gets mind-meltingly bad. Mind-meltingly bad is how I will describe season 8. Yeah.
Okay, Lisa, let me put it this way. Let me put it like this. Is it like watching Sayonara Jupiter sober?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I'm prepared. I've watched the movie 4 times now, so I'm good.
It's like that, except there's an entire Carmine-based dance craze. Well,
I mean, Sayonara Jupiter had a Japanese folk singer Jesus archetype singing a love song to a dolphin named Jupiter. So, I mean...
There you go. Oh, goodness. Okay. Here's what the episode was about. Laverne's attempt at convincing Frank to fund her hope of auditioning in Chicago for a role in an upcoming production of West Side Story is met with rebuke and consternation. In desperation, Laverne turns to Lenny and Squiggy, who offer to drive her to Chicago if they can act as her managers and take half of what she makes. The threesome are soon joined by Carmine, who decides to come with them to help Laverne work up a routine and audition for any open parts himself. Laverne makes friends with a kind auditioneer and soon gets her time in the spotlight. Will she end up in the cast, or will she break a leg? So, Allison, this is your first ever episode of Laverne Shirley, as we just established. Having watched it a couple of times, overall, what do you think of the whole thing? What did you think of the episode? How do you feel about it?
I mean, I don't know what the normal format of the show is, because this was one that did not have Shirley in it except for the very end. I found it pretty charming. I liked Penny Marshall a lot, and I liked her family dynamic. I liked Carmine trying to help her with West Side Story. This was a very, very white West Side Story, I will say.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, and West Side Story is a great musical, so it had a lot of great music numbers in it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I remember when we were watching this together through our streaming of it, was your reaction. I believe is your reaction to the boys doing the guitar version of I Feel Pretty. That was because I know that was a favorite moment for me. But yeah, the West Side Story in this was really good.
Yeah. So what do you think of it, Chris?
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. I am a fan of the musical West Side Story, although I agree. Yeah, it's so white. I think even
I think it kind of misses the point of West Side Story, making them all white, but
yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Well, my thinking is that it's going to be so white that, you know, if it goes out in the sun, even Steven Spielberg's going to need to put on some sunglasses. But sorry, Steven, love you, but my God, the casting on that. Anyway, So anyway, yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. It was, you know, it is interesting that there are occasionally episodes where there's very little Shirley or very little Laverne, and this was one where the gap was a little stronger than usual, and it's a bit unfortunate because, you know, one of the things I find interesting about this episode compared to the rest of the season is how this season has been very much the thirsty Shirley season. I mentioned this because I was just doing notes for a supermarket sweep that's coming up, and there's a particular bit about the Frosted Flakes in it, and which I won't, for listeners that are following along with me, I'm not going to spoil that yet. But that's interesting though, because as well on the flip side, Laverne's typically is the hornier one of the two, and here's kind of well, it's the honesty, you know, and but I like that this was her with this, like, because the girls always have some sort of ambition.
Yes.
And often most of the episodes are about them trying to do something.
Yes.
And in some cases, it's, you know, it's Laverne trying to get a guy, you know, to make out with, or it's Shirley trying to just get a date with somebody in high society. And what was kind of cool here was to see Laverne with an actual, like, artistic pursuit.
Yeah.
And I felt like it fleshed out the character a bit in that method as well. So I really enjoyed that part. And, you know, I've going through this ping pong. I feel like I'm in a pinball machine here with regards to Carmine, because Carmine done some shit.
Is he? I don't know anything else about him other than this episode. It seems like you don't like him very much.
He can be the best and the worst character. He is Chris's least favorite character because he has a tendency to step out on Shirley and not inform Shirley ahead of time that this relationship is supposed to be open. And he's just Carmining it up, and Chris does not enjoy that aspect of his character at all.
So he's doing what with Shirley?
Stepping out on her. Basically, he's dating other girls without letting her know beforehand he wants to date other girls.
Oh, he's a big cheater face?
Yes! Yes!
Oh, that son of a gun. I didn't see that part of his personality in this one.
Yeah.
What a rascal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and there was a few episodes ago where it's like, oh no, we have this understanding, but then because of a misunderstanding that someone has about the understanding, it then comes you know, flying out into the open, and then it ends up turning into this big fight, and it basically is a case of Carmine's basically like this. Okay, Shirley's not going to put out. I'm going to find the gals at will.
Aw, what a jerk.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. No, the phrase "Carmine needs a dick punch" has come up quite a bit, at least in our notes, if not on the show. At least on the show a couple times, I think.
See, I didn't get any of that from this. All I really got was he seemed like someone that was into musical theater and just helping her achieve her dreams. I think you also mentioned this before in the when we were watching it, that this was choreographed by the actor who played Carmine.
Yes, it was. Eddie Mecca has a big theater background in dance, and his idol was Gene Kelly, and you could see like a lot of like Kelly notes and touches to his dance style. He started in the theater in Western Massachusetts, and that's where he went back to after Laverne and Shirley ended. And then he ended up doing a lot of Christian TV shows and movies. He's in See Me Dance.
Oh my gosh, that one?
Yes, he is. He's in that.
I've never seen See Me Dance. But I just remember when that movie came out, I was working at a movie theater and they had free posters for it. They did not show See Me Dance at the theater I was working at, but we got posters for it. So I had a See Me Dance poster, but never saw the movie.
I mean, hey, it probably makes a good dartboard, but
the poster is the best part of the movie.
you got a bunch of leftovers, but yeah. I mean, I will say that when Carmine is the dancer,
Yes.
and it's about either his friendship with the girls or him trying to help them accomplish a dream, or him and his dream of being a dancer, those episodes are fantastic.
Yeah.
There's one in season 3, the dance studio, that really endears you to him, and his goal of wanting, that he wants to be somebody. He loves the art, he loves the theater, and my frustration with Carmen is more of, I think, how the writers use him as this way to make this, machismo character. And I thought what was kind of cool here is that it's a healthier masculinity or a healthier push. Because I mean, what he's doing is he's just being a coach.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even about masculine and feminine. He's being a coach and being like, all right, you got to do this, you got to do that. And he's teaching her, and that's what I enjoy about this episode compared to other episodes where he's his relationship life, his dating life. He's not basically being a gigolo for the divorcees and widowers in the neighborhood. And because that happens for like a whole season.
Oh, that sounds terrible.
That character view is fun. Oh gosh. Well, honestly, the show does do a good job of trying to take these working class girls and show that they have these dreams and ambitions. Laverne's dream, which she says she has no dream. She says she doesn't dream. But her dream really is to become a dancer. It really is to be on Broadway and showing what she can do. And Shirley's dream is to finally leave the working class roots that she has and become someone of in a white collar world as a wife of a doctor, which is pretty much what she was, stuck and limited to in the 50s and 60s when this, show takes place. But
it's supposed to be in the 50s and 60s. I didn't know it was a period piece.
Yes, it's a period piece.
Yeah.
Oh my God. How did I not notice that?
No, it's okay. Lots of people don't notice because the costuming is not as strong as we get into the season.
Yeah, it looked contemporary for the time. I didn't know that this was a period piece.
Yeah.
I guess that explains. Like Lenny and Squiggy got kind of the greaser look going on.
Yes. And they maintained that all the way through the mid '60s. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Was Laverne and Shirley a spin-off of something?
Yes, Happy Days.
Happy Days. Oh, yeah. Okay, that would explain why it's a period piece. I thought maybe it was, and see, I know nothing. I'm a
no. It's
pop culture moron. But
this is great.
No, you're not.
No, it's not. This is great. This is excellent. I love watching this in real time. These revelations. Yeah. This is, it's
every single.
It makes me think.
Sorry.
Well, I was just going to say, it reminds me of how, like, one of the difficulties we've had on the Night After Night Twitter is trying to deal with the timeline because there are anachronisms throughout. I mean, I as a Godzilla fan, I love pointing out the fact that the boys have in their apartment a poster of Godzilla versus the Smog Monster in an episode that's supposed to take place in 1961 or 1960, and that movie didn't come out till 1970 or 71ish. I think it was 71. I think when Smog Monster came out. So yeah, like there were anachronisms. I think Lisa has pointed out the popped collars. There's wardrobe and haircuts. Yes. Haircuts get really bad in this season in particular.
Michael's hair is way longer than it should be for Lady to have a ducktail. Yeah, he's just given up
because we figure. Our theory is this episode's probably set in 61
or 62,
is our theory.
Around there.
That was when West Side Story was getting really big, wasn't it? It was really super popular around then.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Which makes the general sense for them to be going off to Chicago to try to get into this musical. I was going to say, it reaches its nadir when it comes to costumes. When we hit season 7 and everyone has butterfly collars. Full out disco collars. Full out Nehru jacket stuff. And we're supposed to be somewhere in 1965, it's supposed to be around somewhere around 1966 by then. And it's so anachronistic. It's so anachronistic. You haven't gotten there. I'll put them out to Chris once we get there. But it's anachronistic. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still reeling from the was it 19 hours of monsters in Toho scope, and it's like that's not even technically possible. There were not enough Toho films made in Toho scope, and especially not enough in 1959 when the episode takes place.
Yeah, Laverne and Shirley, you idiots.
Yeah, come on, Ryan.
Yeah,
you know enough about Toho scope.
You gotta know these things about your obscure formats. That the fact that Toho actually made their own lenses to compete with Panavision.
Oh goodness. Okay. I know that Allison, that you have certain experience with a number of the actors who are in the show being in media that you enjoy and you review. You specifically mentioned David because he's been in multiple things that you enjoy. So I was gonna go for it. Talk a little about.
I'm sorry, I don't remember all the actors' name. David, which one is this?
David Lander, a Squiggy.
Squiggy, yeah. Oh,
yes.
Well, I not really things I enjoy, unfortunately. I mentioned I saw him in Pacific Blue. I should have prefaced that with I hate Pacific Blue.
There you go.
Yeah, he had a recurring role on Pacific Blue in the first season. I think he was written out after that, and he was basically playing Squiggy. He was the guy who Pacific Blue, for people who don't know, was described as Baywatch on bikes. It was a show that followed that format, and it was about cops on bikes. And he ran the bike repair shop or something. Yeah, I did not like Pacific Blue, and I didn't really like him in it, but I enjoyed reading about him as a person because it had me look up, I looked up stuff about him, and I didn't know he and I'm gonna get all this information wrong. He has some sort of disorder or handicap. Yeah,
he has multiple sclerosis.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
And he was dealing with that all through when he was doing Pacific Blue and all this other stuff, and he hid it for so long because he didn't want it to affect his work. And I found that just fascinating. And I know he does, or he did, talks about that, about disabilities and actors and stuff like that. And I don't know. I just found that very interesting.
Yeah. David's a wonderful guy.
Yeah.
He did that. He does do that, and he still did that at that time. What happened was when he was diagnosed with MS, he was absolutely afraid that was going to ruin his career. People wouldn't hire him. They wouldn't be able to insure him. So he kept it undercover. And he didn't even tell Michael. Michael is his best friend in real life. He didn't tell Michael for years.
Wow.
Until finally he came out with it. And eventually, bit by bit and step by step, he opened up to the public. And he wrote an incredible book. His biography is incredible. I absolutely recommend his biography, which is Fall Down Laughing is the title. I will triple check that, and I will loop it if I have to. But I'm pretty sure it is called Fall Down Laughing. It's incredible. He chronicles this whole situation and everything he went through. Yeah. David's a great guy. Right now he's in a fight with Actors Equity. No, it's not Equity. Is it Equity? It was Equity. We blogged that link. I think it was Equity. It's the what it is, I believe, is the SAG-AFTRA is not going to be they're going to basically, because of a change in the kind of in the situation with healthcare and health benefits, a bunch of people are going to lose their health benefits and get kicked off the medical care that they have through. And so that's more of at the time of this recording. By the time this episode goes up, this may have either been resolved or may have escalated for all we know. Yes. But yeah, we did put out a tweet about this in late September, or have discussed it, which is that, basically due to there's not enough actors able to pay into the benefits programs and things like that for the SAG-AFTRA union. It's moving a lot of folks, especially aging actors, older actors, off of their health care, which, and for some people, especially those who have ongoing chronic illnesses, are going to be terribly affected by it. And David and his wife, who both are union, they have discussed that this is really troubling because this is basically some of the only ways that they have health care and are able to pay for the medicine to kind of regulate their pain and their health issues, and basically realizing that if at any moment they get something even worse, especially in this, time of the pandemic and everything, it's really bad. So the fact that, it speaks, I think, to his character, though, that he is trying to alert
the public, and also in essence also alert other union members that may not be aware of the issue, may not be following those issues closely. And so he's somebody that, I think has handled his issues with his health issues with incredible amount of dignity, it seems like. So he seems like a pretty cool dude in that regard. And here's hoping, again, by the time this episode is out there, that the issue has been resolved and that people are able to maintain their benefits and be able to. And I mean, we say benefit, but really what we mean is, this is a support system. It's a safety net for so many people.
Well, I hope that that situation gets resolved, and it's really good that he's going forward, being public about it, raising awareness.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The other thing that he was in that I know Allison likes a lot is The Nanny. A huge guest spot on The Nanny during the Val's apartment episode. He plays the landlord. He's basically Squiggy there. And I was like, every time I watch that episode, I get a huge laugh out of it because basically they say that Squiggy and Lenny are now domestic partners. And
I mean, is there anything on Laverne and Shirley that disputes that they're domestic partners?
Well, they do kiss twice, but they're pretty. If they're anything, there's a lot of like het material to be frank. The two of them,
they were hitting on the ladies a lot, but I don't believe that they're not a couple. Very coupley.
Yeah. They live together. They sleep together in the bathroom with the light on. That's an actual line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, only and that's the thing is it's only twice a week, which is like, what's twice a week?
There's something going on with Lenny and Squiggy. I got there was some real heat going on between them, some tension this episode. As Squiggy was dying in Lenny's arms, you could tell that there was love there. Yeah, I thought, it was funny on The Nanny. I like The Nanny, so I like that, just not Pacific Blue.
I love the way Fran would do different tributes to the artists she had admired over time.
Oh, yeah. You could totally tell her inspirations came from the things that she grew up with, particularly Lucille Ball, like in the way that she did her comedy on that show. And it was great that she would bring in all sorts of different comedians and characters and things that meant something to her.
Oh yeah. The whole basement apartment is a total tribute to the Laverne and Shirley apartment, the Milwaukee version of the apartment. When you watch the episode, you go, gosh, I wonder if they actually just pulled walls out. I wonder if there was actually stock somewhere.
Was it?
They're just, I'm not entirely sure what happened to the apartment interior set. There was this long-standing rumor that they refurbished the California apartment set and used it on 2.5 Men. The designer for the sets for 2.5 Men have continuously disputed that. They say they did not do that. So,
I mean, I feel like, they're not going to they don't save sets, like, unless it's something really iconic or something, that, like, people are, like, maybe some Star Trek sets, people are like that about it. But, I don't think they really save sets, so it wouldn't surprise me that they refurbished it into something else, even if it wasn't 2.5 Men.
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as I know, it's at least my... Oh, sorry.
Sorry, Chris.
This happens. I apologize.
Yeah. No, it's okay.
I was just gonna quickly point out, that my understanding is they usually either destroy it, they sell it off, sell off the lumber or something, repurpose it, or in the case of like Aliens, it just ends up being left there, and then the Batman crew comes in a couple of years later and is like, what the hell is all this fiberglass doing in here? But yeah, no, I'd be curious about that. I believe there was something about the basement was used somewhere else, because I know someone else within the fandom was talking about that at some point, recently, and I just can't remember what context.
I know the exteriors are definitely a part of the back lot at Paramount.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like if it was a part of a studio and a television set particularly, it would be reused or torn down so that they could use the spot for something else.
Mm-hmm. You can literally go and take a picture sitting on their stoop in Paramount. They reused it for a different city in a different show, but it is still a backlot.
Did Paramount and Universal use the same backlots? Am I confusing things?
No, you're not. You're not confusing things. They just bought each other out.
They bought each other out.
Everything-
Okay, I was going to say that stoop, I believe, was used on Quantum Leap quite a bit. And it was usually New York or something.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that is probably the same set. I'm pretty sure it's the same set.
Yeah, I thought it was.
At one point, everything got amalgamated, basically.
Okay,
The
yeah,
shooting-
I get confused sometimes. I know that it's Universal, but I don't remember what all companies are associated with each other.
Yeah, at this point, everything owns everything else. At
Yeah.
this point, like, there's no
Yeah,
dividing
I mean,
line.
eventually Disney will own it all, so.
Yeah, everything belongs to Disney. All hail the mouse.
I mean, my thought was going to be to make a callback to a reference we made many episodes ago, is just to say, essentially all the movie studios are just like doing the shunting at this point, and they're amalgamating themselves, a little bit here, a little bit there, repurpose this face onto this person's butt, this person's leg out of this person's skull.
Society reference now.
Yeah.
Why is society reference now? Why?
Is that M. Night Shyamalan's new picture, The Shunting?
No,
it's
it's a Brian
Billy
Usna
Warlock
Society.
film.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
I know.
Okay,
you're
good.
right.
You're talking about the movie Society?
Yes.
Yeah, the movie
With
society.
Billy Warlock of
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Baywatch fame?
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen that one. The
Yeah.
butthead. Yeah.
That's an
Everyone's got to
experience.
tell me about it too. They're like, "Did you see that? Did you see the one with the butthead thing with Billy Warlock? Did you see that movie?" I'm like, yes, I've seen that. And they're like, "He's Eddie from Baywatch." Yes, I've seen Society.
Oh,
I just
no.
assume everybody has at this point, because, it was a really hard to find movie when I first watched it like 14 years ago now. And now it's like everywhere. So yeah.
I mean,
it's,
if you're into body horror stuff, that's
Yeah.
like the body horror movie.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Society.
Oh, yeah.
But speaking of human bodies, moving on back onto ones that are a little more contained and structurally integral. The dance move stuff I thought was really cool to see in this episode of the chorus line. I did love the gag where Laverne does is on the bar and crouches and squats. And I can relate to that when going to the gym, haven't done a squat in a while, and just, feeling it's like, ow, that burns. That burns very much. I didn't realize that there were muscles there.
There go the ligaments.
Which
Ligaments.
but it's which speaks also to one of the things I enjoy about Laverne and Shirley, is that the one of the places I think it works strongly comedically is when it has something that's very relatable, and this was a good balance that many of us are never going to be even skilled enough to even attempt auditioning for West Side Story, but it has those moments of like, yes, I know what that feels like, to kind of make it more human, and it was good in that regard.
It's a really simple show, Laverne and Shirley, about, dreams. It's about, when this show aired in the mid-70s, it was revolutionary to say it's okay not to be married, to be a single working person, to have all kinds of ambitions and all kinds of dreams that don't involve just settling down and being in X place and having X amount of kids. And the girls do have ambitions to be married someday, but that's not the be-all, end-all. And at the time, it was revolutionary. We get some retrograde stuff that happens throughout the show that we poke at and say, no, don't do that show. But in a way, it's really, really, revolutionary for its time period. I was going to specifically mention that I really enjoyed how Toni Basil manages to integrate herself into this cast. She's a really good actress in this particular episode.
I think you mean Mickey?
Mickey, yes. I love that her name was Mickey. That's an irony that did not exist when they filmed this episode. It's an irony that exists now.
Funny.
I love it. 5 years later, Mickey hit number 1. 5 years after this episode.
Oh, you think maybe she sort of had this in her head, even subconsciously?
Yeah, possibly, or just, I actually do not know how the song Mickey came to life. I'm actually gonna one of these days I'm gonna research that, because I actually had no idea when the songwriting there. But think about all the things that she did before this. I mean, she danced with Elvis in Viva Las Vegas. She choreographed American Graffiti, which is how she knew the Marshall Clan, how she got involved probably in this episode.
Yeah, she's an extremely talented dancer.
Oh yeah,
Very accomplished.
Doesn't she still do dance work? I'm pretty sure. I think at her age, which is, I think.
I'm not sure what she's doing currently, but if she is, good for her.
Exactly, good for her.
Doing a little check here and there. It's difficult to find information in the way that this wiki is sorted. That's wonderful.
I was going...
Speaking of choreography, she choreographed Tarantino's dance scenes in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Huh.
Nice.
She was surprised by Quentin's detailed knowledge of both 60s dances and her previous work. She actually personally knew Sharon Tate and Jay Sebring, so she was able to bring that to the film.
Oh.
Interesting.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that at all.
She seems like she's had like a very long, crazy life.
Oh yeah, a lot of cool stuff. She did a lot of cool stuff. Probably my favorite thing that she did pre-Mickey and pre her later career was that she choreographed numbers for the Monkees movie Head. The number Daddy is what she dances with Davy Jones. She choreographed that whole thing, and it's really impressive. If you ever watch that particular scene, she dynamite in it. It's just a really good moment, a really good scene.
And we do have to point out she is one of the crazy kooky kids in Bird-Eye Gordon's Village of the Giants.
She is.
She was also in the cult classic Rockula.
Oh, cool.
Oh yeah,
where she played Rock Dracula's mom.
Yes. Oh, I've heard about that. Yes.
She's great in it. The movie's not good, but she's great. So her parts are worth watching.
Oh wow.
I need to watch that. I have not seen that. Now I desperately want to watch that.
Yeah, you should.
Oh man, that sounds up my alley. That sounds like something I.
Yeah, she played. Is she? I don't know. Is she like a new agey type person? I maybe I'm just getting that because her Baywatch episode. She played like a fortune teller.
Well, this I don't know about her. I just know that she did a lot of performance art. She continues to do performance art and experimental filmmaking.
Oh, okay.
Apparently. Yeah. That much I know about her, but I don't know if she's particularly agey. She kind of does give off that vibe, though, in a good way. I want to say in a good way, so people will take that the wrong way. Oh. God.
Yeah, she didn't have a huge part. I did like that Laverne was very supportive of her. They didn't play it very catty or anything, even though they were competing with each other.
Yeah.
Which was incredibly refreshing for this show to do, because it's so regularly they give both the girls, Laverne and Shirley, rivals, and there are times where it works well, especially for the point they're trying to make. And I think what was cool was that because the director in this episode becomes the a-hole antagonist, it was.
Can you guys work this out at home? I think that was funny.
Oh god, that broke me a little bit. That's good. Exactly. You know, that character became the bad guy, so it meant that that Mickey gets to be the pal. And I love that. That's one of the things I appreciate about this episode is that it has those qualities of people rooting for each other, and I really felt it though most of all, I think, in Mickey, the Mickey character, and Toni Basil. I like how it was pointed out earlier that she integrates into this cast. She has this wonderful chemistry, this kind of mutable chemistry to just, you could see her being able to bounce off of the boys, bounce off Carmine, and be able to just kind of, like that could be there, which is, it's yet another case of, it's a great supporting character, a guest character for one episode that I really wish would come back. And seasons 3 and 4, I've had a ton of them that it's like, I really wish they came back.
Yeah. For me, I still don't believe they never capitalized on how good the character of Lori Lubitz was in season 1. That's the one episode character. We got a lot of good one episode characters in this series. And it's like, come back. And we need you.
And actually, Lisa, as you're pointing that out, she would have been excellent as one of the casting directors or stagehands in this episode, because Gloria Lubitz's character is played by Leland Palmer, and she's this like former rockette who is, from the theater and is keeping the girls from succeeding at the talent show. And it's like, this spot is perfect to have that. And her as the director would have been an excellent upgrade. But
I
yeah.
know, exactly.
And I keep coming over my notes, and the gang fight scene as well keeps coming to mind.
That is so much fun.
And Laverne rumbling, and then
I could take all these girls, Carmine. I could take them all. I love that line.
That's great. And of course, yet another appearance of wife guy Lenny.
Yes, life guy Lenny. He was so both into her kicking butt and then trying to pull her out of the way. Of course, I'm just partial to him in this episode because he's standing there in a sleeveless black t-shirt and tight jeans. I'm a simple woman. I am a simple woman. I will say that much about myself.
I'm sure, Allison, you've known Lisa long enough that you know of the Laverne ship and how it is very integral to Lisa's fandom of this show.
Not entirely integral.
Oh, Laverne and Lenny? Laverne?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
So,
I don't remember this exactly, but
Hey.
I know. There's lots of pictures of Michael Mckean just looking adorable. That's what I see a lot. Just
that's
looking
pretty much
picture perfect.
That's pretty much my entire Twitter brand at this moment.
That was my introduction really to this show before Lisa even recommended this podcast idea to me.
Yeah.
Or as I like to call it, asked me if I wanted to go to the circus. But which is another callback to an earlier episode. But what's really cute about the Lenny and Laverne dynamic is that that there's always, not always, but there are occasional moments of this will they, won't they, or this sort of chemistry between the two of them, and that he's kind of a little crazy about her in a way that's actually a little kind of sweeter. It's a little more kind of innocent. And one of the ways that it comes out is that whenever Laverne is in a fight or in some sort of physical struggle, or she's really trying for something, Lenny's always in her corner. So we like calling him wife guy. He's the wife guy without a wife.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the joke. That's the joke. It's cute. It's very cute. Like I said, I will give you Rex eventually. But yeah. Like I said, I'm a simple woman. I enjoy looking at Michael in this episode very much, just to be simple.
I didn't know till we were watching it that it was Michael Mckean, and then I'm like, wait a minute, I know who that is. Like, I didn't know that was his big start.
Yeah. And I don't know what you know him from. Do you know him from The Nanny, or just from recently watching Smallville, or?
I've seen him in a lot of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I think one of the first things I was really familiar with him in was Earth Girls Are Easy.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's been in a ton of stuff.
Yeah, I knew you liked that movie. I love that movie too. And yeah, he is Woody in that movie, and he's great in that movie.
Yeah, that one he looks very different in that movie compared to other times, other roles. I mean, but yeah, I've seen him in a lot of stuff. He was great. He was great in Smallville. Smallville wasn't great, but he was great in Smallville. Like I don't think I've ever seen him in anything where he wasn't great. He was recently in Good Omens.
Yes. Oh God, he was so perfect in that part too.
Yeah, really great. He had a great guest starring role on X-Files as well. Very memorable.
Yes. And then I ended up branching out into Lone Gunman.
On Voyager, he was the clown.
Yes.
Him as the clown.
Yes. He's so good in that part. Oh my God, yeah, I love that episode too. That might be my favorite Voyager episode. I'm not sure. I have to think about that, but I think it might be.
What?
I need to.
That might be my favorite Voyager episode. I think it might
okay.
be my favorite among all of them, but I'm not quite sure.
Janeway was very sinister in that one.
Yes.
Ooh,
Very sinister. The clown's like, I'm afraid and I know.
Whoa. Okay. Yeah, I'm actually just going through Voyager for the first time
okay.
here and there. And so, no, that excites. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm in. I want to see that happen. I want to see a standoff between Janeway and Michael Mckean as a clown.
Yeah. You'll see it.
I am in, dude.
Yeah. I was going to say, probably, this is my introduction to him. There's not been a year in my life where his work hasn't been a part of my life, basically. When I was 3 years old, I have a very, 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 very vague memory of being 3, walking up to the TV screen and putting my hand on the TV and going, Lenny.
Oh my god, I thought it was going to turn into Poltergeist.
No, I have not been sent to the hell dimension. I am still here.
Like you're like Lenny, and then the static was talking to you.
No. I was a tiny little girl, and I thought, oof, shiny images. It's my reaction. But yeah, for me, it went from like watching him on that as a very, very tiny kid, and then it was Clue, and then it was Short Circuit 2.
Yes, as the wonderful, as amazing star performance as Durf.
He plays Fred in that. It's Fred. Yes.
No, that's what I said. Durf.
That's Durf. Yes, we're going for that too. Yes. God, it's been so many years since I actually watched that movie. I used to watch it obsessively when I was like 8 or 9, and then I got back into Laverne, Shirley, and then I got into Spinal Tap, and so basically there hasn't been a year of my life where his work hasn't been a part of my life. So that's why
he was on SNL for a time too, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
Right.
Yeah, it was about, he guest starred in 1984 and wore an amazing sweater.
Oh, 84. Was that during the dark time for SNL?
Oh yeah. He guest starred there. He appeared as part of the Folksmen, which eventually became a part of the Mighty Wind in the future.
Right, I've seen.
Yeah.
And then he did a whole season as a cast member. It only lasted for a season. According to him, he did this interview with the AV Club, and he said that his experience with waiting for to get his material through, you have to sit there in your dressing room when you're a part of the cast of SNL. You have to sit there from around, I think, about 4 in the afternoon all the way past midnight when they're putting the show together, so you can give your material out and try it in front of Lorne, and if it flies, it flies, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. But you're not allowed to leave until everybody else is done.
Oh man, yeah, I've heard stories about working at SNL from people that similar kinds of things. There was I don't know if it was an interview or a book with everything leaves my mind as soon as I need to think of it. The lady who played Pat.
Yes. Julie Sweeney.
Yeah, Julia Sweeney.
Yes.
She was talking about she's like, yeah, you'd have this great material and you'd be ready to go, and then they'd be like, oh no, Adam Sandler wrote another stupid song 2 minutes ago, so we're gonna do that instead.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's how he started watching the X-Files, and how he went to his agent and said, I would like to be on the show, and they ended up finding the right part for him. And that's how he became Morris Fletcher. That's how he was sitting there on Friday night waiting to pitch his stuff, and he's sitting there watching the X-Files in his dressing room. Oh, yes. Yeah.
I did want to bring things back around to Chorus Line.
Yes.
So there was the part where Laverne and Carmine are dancing.
Yes.
I did like that Penny Marshall legitimately could do the moves. Like, she was doing it great, but she has to play like she can't dance through the rest of the episode. So it was very good that she could do both. You could see that she actually could do it.
She is so good at pretending to be untalented sometimes. Or she was so good at pretending. Yeah. There are whole episodes where she has to pretend to be able to be awful at either singing or dancing. And she just pulls it off completely and perfectly. There's a whole episode where the girls are trying to get into the talent show, the brewery talent show. So they're trying out all these different acts. And the girls are supposed to be horrible dancers and singers, and you just believe it. And Penny had been dancing since she was a little kid because her mom owned a dance studio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She started out tap dancing, and she mastered a bunch of different kinds of dances. And by the time we get to the end of the show, she could even break dance. She did a breakdancing routine. Yeah, on a talk show in 1984.
Oh, great. Now, God, my future vision is starting to make my eye twitch. I don't mean that negatively. It's the surprise, the shock of it. I mean, that
sounds amazing.
It does. It's something. It's just I don't expect it. And breakdancing in 1960 something.
1984. To be fair, at the end of the series, this is on a talk show that had nothing directly to do with the show, but she was promoting the end of the show. Its last death row days, sadly. And those were death row days, trust me. I retweeted the routine, or post a routine with this episode so people can see it, but it's really cool. Yeah, she was super talented when it came to dancing and making her routines look as if Laverne is a talented amateur when Penny was not. So, yeah, that's a good point, Allison. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I also appreciated, just to say of that scene, as the film person, I really appreciated how they shot that scene as well, because it's clean coverage, 2 camera setup. It doesn't cut too dirty, even though there might be a couple of takes interspersed here or there. But I love that they actually had directors on the show, especially by this point. They understand when someone's dancing full body, you have to see the leg work, you have to see them get the landings. That's what you're there for. It makes it more theatrical. And I love the studio audience reaction to the number at the end. It's just they're very there for it. But I don't have much to add aside from just agreeing that it was amazing. And there are points of because I think at this point Penny and Cindy, but even Carmine, Eddie, Mecca as well, they were doing about 2 to 5 different routines a season, I think, right? At this point, Lisa?
Yeah, around there. I think they could sometimes even increase that to around 6. It depends on the season. Season 5 is super, super physical, and on top of having to learn all of the physical comedy that they did and learn it quickly, they would have to learn dance routines. So it would be usually about 6 big numbers, 8 season, and then on top of that, all the physical comedy they had to do. And amazingly, nobody got severely hurt doing all that physical comedy, which is really a factoid of wonder to me forever when you watch the stuff they had to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was the way that dance a routine was shot was very cinematic, and it was nice to see that in a sitcom, because I'm used to more modern sitcoms being very very clinical looking, very you get a couple camera setups, and that's point and shoot and do very quickly, but you could tell there was a lot of care put into this.
Yeah, the director Joel Zwick, we're going to get to this in some of the episodes coming up, because this is him kind of starting a rather large run on the show. He definitely tried to add more cinematic techniques, and again, as we'll be covering in other episodes, he ended up actually becoming someone, he did a ton of sitcoms and a ton of television, to the point that there were certain studios that knew he was the pilot guy, so he got hired for pilots for 7 different shows, I think, during the 80s. Some of which became very popular. I think he did the pilot for Bosom Buddies.
Oh.
And so, he exactly, he does add those more cinematic touches. Sometimes it's the way it's shot. The director who was in the previous season directed pretty much all of season 3. I don't know why I had to say his name so many times I can't remember the dang name now.
Oh no.
But he was the guy that did a lot of insert shots.
Yes.
But Joel's seems to be about good, clean framing, and then he started playing more with lighting, which even here with the way that they do a little bit of that stage light. I liked how the actual stage, the rehearsal, everyone's rehearsing, and then they're doing their auditions. It's not lit just as a wash. There's actual spotlight moments that are able to to go up and down, so that it doesn't get dull, because most of the time on this show, it's even though they have some rather technically accomplished crew, they're not using those skills. They're just light the set, make sure everything can be seen, set up the cameras, and just go. And as far as we know as well, and this actually is part of the reason probably this was the case, it was revealed in an interview with Penny, they didn't use monitors.
Yeah.
So they just had to trust that they would get one take maybe for safety, and that was kind of it. which is why I wonder, like, say with the dance number, probably, I'm assuming they did multiple takes of the dance and did it with 2 cameras and probably just rolled on through for, what is about, like, I think it's like 3.5, 4 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's crazy not using monitors. I know for a long time, the monitors were a little bit useless when people were filming on TV because you couldn't really see the focus that well. You had to trust that the focus was like what it was. So that's why, like, a lot of things when they get HD remasters, you can see like they're a little bit off, whereas on like older televisions you wouldn't have noticed as much.
Yeah.
But to not have any monitors at all is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
According to Penny, the way they did it was they'd shoot it through once, then they'd ask up in the booth, did you get it? If they didn't get it, they had to loop it. They had to either loop audio or reshoot it or shoot it from a different angle later. They filmed their rehearsals, their last dress rehearsal, just in case something disastrous happened in front of the audience. At one point, something disastrous did happen in front of the audience. This is also in the Accursed Season 8. Penny was in a spacesuit on guide wires. Yeah.
All right.
It'll make sense. Trust me. Somewhere down the line it'll make sense. She's on guide wires. They are doing a flying effect. She's spinning around. The guide wires give way, and she falls
to
the studio floor. She bruised the whole left side of her body, but she didn't get seriously injured, miraculously. So what they did was use the dress rehearsal footage, and that's what ended up in the episode.
Man, what a pro.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's that really speaks to the state of that season when you're like, so anyway, she's in a spacesuit doing a flying effect. Here's what happened.
There is an entire episode set in a convent with nuns on roller skates.
Cool.
Is that the same one with the pickles?
Yes, the nuns who communicate with pickles. Yes.
I've been like, every time it's like, we're getting, I'll mention like, oh, there's an issue with this episode in the first season, and suddenly Lisa leaves at the microphone, nuns with pickles. It's like, what is going on? What have I gotten myself into? But yes, okay. So apparently nuns, roller skates who communicate using pickles. The more I think about it, the more intrigued I am and less horrified.
It became Laverne and Shirley, you must be kidding. What did they call the show? Shirley wasn't even there anymore?
Okay, this is a fascinating story.
Is it just Laverne?
Yeah. They wanted to call it Laverne or Laverne and Company. Penny said, no, we cannot do this. I will look horrible. It'll look like I shoved Cindy out. So it was Laverne and Shirley all the way through the last season, even though Shirley's in 2 episodes of the whole season.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Oh, that was a mess. The show was messy backstage. Super messy. That was a side effect of that. So the whole time it's Laverne and Shirley, even though she's not there. Lenny's not there anymore. Michael Mckean got time off to do Spinal Tap. And,
okay.
Yeah, he had that written into his contract.
Boy, is he regretting that.
I know. I'm sure he regrets, filming that movie and having it preserved forever on the National Film Registry. I'm sure that was a horrible career move.
He's like, man, I should have stuck around for season 8 of Laverne and Shirley more.
He could have been possessed by a ghost.
Man.
God.
Man alive, yeah. I know. But he's not there anymore. He's off filming Spinal Tap because they finally managed to get money for it. And he had that written into his contract. I'll sign for X many episodes, but if we get the money, I'm gone. So he was gone for the majority of the season too. So the whole season is about Squiggy, Laverne, Carmine, and a bunch of people they pick up in California and Laverne's dad.
Cool.
That's what it's about. That's why season 8 is season 8. But yeah, dragging her on back to talking about the dancing in Broadway and all of that jazz.
I mean, do we have much else to say? Maybe.
Yeah.
What about her and her dad? There was some stuff with her and her dad I thought was really good.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. I love everything about, the way Frank finally comes around here. And finally decides to support her. There's some series-long conflicts between the two of them about the fact that she wants to go out and do her thing. And he wants her just to settle down, get married, have a couple of grandkids. And this is an excellent example of him finally, deciding to show up for her. And, showing that he loves her and he wants her to be happy and wants her to be successful. So I like that. I like that part of the episode.
Yeah, I liked Pizzeria Dad.
Pizzeria Dad's awesome.
Hey, yo, you need to settle down, have some grandkids. Take them to the pizza shop. You give up on your dream. I got you that keyboard set. It's only got 10 keys.
You got 10 fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was nice. He came around at the end and he was, giving some guff back to the director because he wanted to support his daughter. Yeah.
Yeah. That was really cute.
And I love the whole thing. Pop, what are you doing here? I happen to be in the neighborhood. I had to deliver a pizza in Chicago.
Yes.
Which made me think, like, if he doesn't do Chicago deep dish style at the Pizza Bowl, so like, I wonder if he gets like kicked out of the city if people realize that.
You know what? I live in Illinois. Forget deep dish Chicago style pizza. It's just a big casserole. You can only eat one slice of it. It's not very good. It's overrated. So
that's awesome. I love that. I love the declaration. And
I'm just gonna say, like, I think it's welcome if it's not deep dish. If someone's like, "Hey, I got some pizza and it's deep dish," I'm like, "Oh, that's a real disappointment."
Well, I need more than one.
I don't think I've
please.
I've never had authentic deep dish, so I probably would have a similar reaction. Because when you mention it as like it's just a casserole, you can only eat one slice. Like, yeah, that doesn't sound fun.
It's just a big block of cheese with some sauce on top. Like, you don't need that much.
I'm an East Coaster. I'm from the general Massachusetts area, and I've never experienced it authentically either. I think the closest I've ever gotten was Pizza Hut's ripoff version of it back in the 90s, which isn't authentic at all.
Yeah,
I don't think it's probably authentic, but
at all.
My first time eating a deep dish pizza, I was on a trip with some people and I was very, very tired, but they wanted deep dish pizza. So we went into the restaurant and so I'm sitting there trying to eat one slice of this block of cheese, falling asleep, sitting in my chair into my deep dish pizza.
Oh dear.
my God.
Oh dear.
Oh,
my
wow.
goodness.
It's weirder when there's stuff in it too, when it's not just cheese. They're like, "Oh, it's a pepperoni deep dish," and you just got stuff all over. I don't know. It's just a weird thing.
More sausage.
It just makes me. It makes me think of, because I was watching Beware the Blob on the Criterion Channel last night. It just makes me think of this goopy cheese pizza that just absorbs everything into it and then somehow gets bigger in mass.
It absorbs grease. That's what it absorbs. Just eating a big bunch of grease.
Ew.
You've both made me think of Pizza the Hut. Now all I can think of is Pizza the Hut.
Oh man, now I just want Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
You think Frank took an anti-Pizza Hut stance? No, not authentic.
Well, by the time
I would assume so.
By the time we get into the 60s and the whole show moves to Los Angeles, he runs a country and western style rib and chicken joint. So
what?
Oh God,
no,
that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Because I've seen that. I've seen the place. Yeah, it. Oh my God, that set is 70s as hell too. It looks like something out of the Timothy Van Patten The Master TV series.
It does. Oh, I'm so pained to admit that it does. It does. Oh yeah, yeah. So he has no stake in the game by then. But and then he's super critical of the chain food that he has to serve. Understandably, after making pizza for the bajillion years.
Can't believe he sold out.
He sells out. He sells out for a franchise, and then he and
Not
Edna.
Frank.
He's no longer Fabrizio De Fazio. He is Frank the Fake. Anyway, I'm sorry I took that in such a tangent. Oh man, but I agree with all that was said though about Frank being, wonderfully warm and sweet. And can I just also comment, it is so adorable. He loves the little Father's Day song and kind of sings it along with him. I mean, with her. I mean, they sing along together. It is so precious, and I love the pep talk he gives her. It took a lot of guts to come down here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I love here's I made a note. You should never be ashamed when you try.
Yeah, that was nice.
That's such a nice quote.
I mean, it's a dangerous blanket statement, but it's a good pep talk statement.
Exactly. I love any episode where they all team up and try and accomplish anything. Honeymoon Hotel in season 2 is a great example of that, when Shirley wins a honeymoon even though she's not about to get married to anybody. And the gang all teams up, everybody, even the most practical member of the cast, teams up to get the girls into this hotel so they can sit there in a honeymoon suite and have fun, because they would never normally be able to afford it. And this is like a really ritzy, luxurious idea, and a really ritzy, luxurious place to them. I love it when everybody is on the same team. Those are some of my favorite episodes, and this is a pretty good example of that as well, I think.
Yeah, it's good.
It's
really good.
Yeah.
And then we have the tag scene where Shirley finally arrives.
Yeah, finally. I love that this kind of weaves in Cindy's actual love of animals. She's an animal activist. So, yeah, she did a lot of stuff. I don't know if she did stuff with PETA, but I know she did some anti-fur campaigns. She does a lot of stuff with animal shelters. And there's a lot of animal activism in season 4 from Shirley, deeper into this season. I love that Shirley is so much of a sensitive soul and likes these water buffaloes, but darn it, they stink.
Mm-hmm.
And they smell so
Stink
bad.
like the devil.
Stink like the devil. Right?
I thought that was code for something. I didn't think she was literally talking about water buffaloes.
She was literally supposed to be. She was literally supposed to be. That thankfully was not a code for anything.
I thought it was just like, I thought it was like lingo or something.
No,
I'm like, I don't know what they're talking
real
about.
water buffalo.
Yeah, that's why I love the Buffalo Convention. And there's that bit Frank in the beginning. It's like, that's good. That should be preserved. It's a wonderful city.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm dumb. I guess I thought that's what it was in Buffalo.
No, you're not dumb.
No.
This is your first
No.
experience
It's
with the
all.
show.
Why is there a Buffalo Convention though?
Because
specifically
they're trying to save the animal,
buffaloes.
I think.
I guess because buffaloes are kind of in trouble, right? Or they were for a long time.
Yeah,
they were.
like,
I'm curious if in the early '60s they were still, that was a bit of an issue. I don't know.
I know it was in the 70s, which might be what influenced this. Maybe.
It took them a long time to get buffaloes back to where they should be because they were overhunted.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't know how far back that was when it was at their worst point.
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a darn good question. I'm not even probably gonna look that up.
I feel like that was like pioneer days when they like overhunted them, but it takes a long time, many generations to actually get a population up again.
Yeah.
I know they led to near extinction of the species around the 1890s. So, the U.S. government, in an effort to sabotage the central resource of some American Indian nations during the later portions of the American Indian Wars. So racism had to do with it. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome. Yay. I say I'm hoping my sarcasm is coming through because God, I when I learned about that stuff, I cried. That was horrible. Finding out how horrible that whole period was.
Yeah.
Oh, why are people so awful? Anyway, yes, but today, I'm just quickly double checking. The Tribal Bison Council being one of the most significant conservation measures of formed 1990. Okay. They now have 15,000 bison currently focused on reestablishing herds. Yeah, okay. They're getting there. I don't know about the 1960s, but they were definitely just trying to do the research. And it looks like they have done some conservation efforts. And here we go. There's actually a chart. They were down in 1900. There was only 300 left in the country, according to some records. And by 1951, they got it back up to 23,000. And as of 2000, the year 2000, it was up to 360K. So.
Oh, that's cool.
Wow. Today I learned.
Good job on the conservationists.
Yeah. Plus for them.
And you know what? Shirley was one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Way to go, Shirley Feeney.
Yeah, plus Shirley Feeney. Okay. I guess we're getting close to ranking this one.
Oh, they got horny at the end.
Oh,
It
yeah.
happened. There was a little horny tag at the end.
Yeah, the Waldo Litke's Tango Palace, which apparently that's a spicy meatball. So
My question is, by the way, Chris, do you think this is the Diamond Dance place the girls danced at in season 3?
you mean the taxi dance
Yeah,
place?
the taxi dance
Call me a
place.
taxi. Oh God, that's an excellent question.
It feels like it might be. I think it might be.
It might be, depending on if the place kind of cleaned itself up a bit, because the dance hall from the Call Me a Taxi episode, where the girls become taxi dancers, that place was pretty skeezy.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, it made the dance hall from Killer's Kiss by Stanley Kubrick look, like a child's playhouse by comparison. I mean, that was the kind of place like you had to avoid, don't avoid men with suitcases and any men that are trying to get you within 20 feet of the bathroom.
Yeah. There's an actual line of it in the episode.
Oh,
An actual
man.
line.
God. Yeah, that brought me back to that episode. Yeah, I don't know. My theory is maybe, but we don't have enough information to go on to whether it actually was, if the place cleaned up its act a bit, which it could have, for all we know.
Sure.
I just did change in management. I don't know, but whatever the case, it is cute. I do like the last line. They won't smell like buffaloes, will they?
I know.
About the two guys picked up at the convention.
And Laverne forgets all about her sore feet the second there's a possibility of a dude. Bless her. Like, yeah. Oh. Yeah. Okay. I think we are at ranking time, I think.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay.
I could go for a ranking.
Yeah, would you like to go first, our honored guest?
I don't have anything to rank it against. So,
Well, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess like out of all the Laverne and Shirley episodes I've seen, it was the best.
There you go. Hey.
I mean,
We
it was
usually,
good. It was a good episode of television.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we usually do a 1 to 10 scale.
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually just recently had our first one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
First
our
one?
first-
Oh, like one being the worst or the
Yep.
best?
Yep.
Yeah.
Being the
Oh.
voiced. Yeah.
We've gotten out like 3 10s, and those are really good episodes. So.
Yeah. Very strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was enraged at one particular episode, and I always get enraged at that episode, and then he got enraged at one particular episode. And
All right, well, yeah, I would put it at a solid 7 or 8.
Yeah. Yeah.
okay.
What are you thinking, Lisa?
For me, this is around an 8. This has a lot of elements that I like about the show. I like the way the choreography came out. I like the story when it came to Mickey and Laverne becoming friends, and how it doesn't become a rivalry, but it becomes sort of a support friendship. The boys are so much fun in this episode. The I Feel Pretty number is really funny and goofy and really kind of perfectly them. They have a great little moment where they're trying to negotiate with Laverne, trying to get some money out of her, and then they agree to shake on it, and then they say they'll seal it, and they end up kissing. His money after kissing.
Yeah, seal with a kiss, and then there goes Lenny.
Yep, which is probably one of the most Lenny things I can think of offhand sometimes. Just to go ahead and seal it with a kiss, and then Laverne goes, "You sealed it! You nailed it! You kissed it!" That's just like so perfectly them in their own little way. Good use of Carmine. Good use of Frank. Could use more Shirley, but Cindy was off. For all we know, there might have been some writerly conflict. On the call sheet for this episode, which is currently available on eBay, it is called The Sick Out, which is an interesting factoid. I don't know what that means for this show, but they always do that. Backstage it was a mess, so anything could be happening to keep Cindy off of that particular episode. For the lack of Shirley, like I said, it's around like an 8. everything else gels well. The dance numbers are good. Everything else is good. So it's around there for me. How about you, Chris?
Nice. Yeah, I'm gonna. I mean, oh God, peer pressure. Do I go with the 8 or do I break rank?
Break
No,
rank.
no, I would. The more I think about it, like it's one of those. It doesn't. I sometimes get this way where an episode might really affect me when I'm watching it and like I'm really engaged with it, and then when I'm stepping away from it and it's not like in my conscious mind, I don't remember it as fondly, I guess I should say.
Yeah.
But is the way I would put it. And so it's I would say it's an 8 when I'm really directly thinking of it, engaging with it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed going through it multiple times now, prepping for this very special episode of our podcast. And I think for all the same reason. I think the characters are great. The dance stuff is great, is wonderful. I mean, this is easily. Yeah, I actually remember commenting that Eddie's dancing is even like getting better with each season, and this is like some of the best he's done, and it was this is really fantastic work. A lot of fun. Toni Basil's little part is delightful, and I so wish that she had returned because I just really like the character. Although part of me did want to take off like a half a point because of the fact that when Mickey, is saying to Laverne before she goes on an audition, instead of saying break a leg, she tells her good luck. And you never do that in theater. That's the bad luck. Good luck is bad luck. You always say break a leg because you want to break the so that was just one last little detail to it. But yeah, I did miss Shirley for the episode. It would have been nice if she'd been around. But yeah, interesting thing about the timing in terms of the filming, Cindy Williams, More American Graffiti came out the same year as this episode. I'm wondering if that was a scheduling conflict. Unless she went and did that between seasons. I know her part's relatively small in the movie.
That's possible. That might be what happened. I'm guessing that might be what happened because I had no idea that filmed the same year. I know the cast kept on doing all kinds of stuff during summer break, and that's a possibility. There you go. Now we have an explanation. Mystery might be solved. Yay.
It's just a theory, but yes, I'm going to do my little research on the internet or some sort of thing like that. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. You guys it?
Yeah. I think that's it. Awesome. Is there anything else, Allison, you have to comment before I start getting our sign off handled here?
I think we got it covered.
Sweet. Cool. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us once again for Night After Night. And if you would like to know more, please join us at Night After Night PC on Twitter or Night After Night Pod on Facebook, Tumblr, Patreon, and YouTube. And gosh, we're places. We're around. Look, but hopefully by the time this episode goes up, we're recorded this months in advance. Hopefully by this time, Google will be nice, and whenever you look up Night After Night podcast, you will find us at the top because
You'll have 1 million listeners. You'll just be like at the top of your game.
Yeah.
I suddenly feel very nervous at that prospect, but I do appreciate the saying of a break a leg there. Oh, God, I'm gonna go hide now. Anyway, so Lisa, what's going on? I feel like somehow we're gonna be in motion in this next episode, but in a different type.
The girls flash back to the day they moved in together, and it ended up being a lot more complicated than one might think. It's called Laverne and Shirley Move In.
All right. Well, hopefully you'll join us again next time. And Allison, thank you so much for joining us for this episode. This was wonderful to have you here.
Thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Awesome. And I guess so we will see everybody next time on the Night After Night pod, and as we watch Laverne and Shirley move in. It's guaranteed to get your ass into action.
Oh my God. Oh Lord. Bye everybody.